Michael, Bungie creative team joins PlayStation to support live service games. Oh, buddy. Tom Ivan, VGC, let's get into this one. Bungie Creative Studios has joined PlayStation Studios to support Sony's push into live service games. Because that's worked out so far. Bridget O'Neill, who previously served as senior director of Bungie Creative Studios, discussed restructuring in LinkedIn update this week. Quote, "Today was my team's last day at Bungie, but not our last day working on Destiny and Marathon," end quote, she wrote. Quote, "Bungie Creative Studios is joining PlayStation Studios to build the foundation for a creative team that can support all PlayStation live service games. As part of this move, I am taking on a new role as Senior Director of Creative at PlayStation Studios," end quote. Bungie announced in July that it was laying off 220 staff, or 17% of its workforce, alongside plans to further integrate with parent company Sony. Quote, "First, we are deepening our integration with Sony Interactive Entertainment, working to integrate 155 of our roles, roughly 12%, into SIE over the next few quarters," end quote, said Bungie CEO Pete Parsons. Quote, "SIE has worked tirelessly with us to identify roles for as many of our people as possible, enabling us together to save a great deal of the talent that would otherwise have been affected by the reduction in force. Second, we are working with PlayStation Studios leadership to spin out one of our incubation projects, an action game set in a brand new science fantasy universe, to form a new studio within PlayStation Studios to continue its promising development," end quote. Sony also has experienced significant teething problems when it's in pushing the live service, canceling the Last of Us multiplayer game, pulling Concord off the shelf. Michael, seriously, is Bungie? So, if I recall, which I know I'm right on this, Bungie's the one that told Naughty Dog that they didn't have a good enough game. But yet you released Concord. This is the move you want to make? I got questions, Michael.
Yeah, I mean, the headline alone for somebody who grew up in the 2000s just hits differently, right? When you hear Bungie and PlayStation, when Bungie was behind probably the biggest Xbox franchise still to this day in the original Halo, not the Halo Studios, 343 Studios Halo that you and I are both nervous about. So yeah, this is wild. I think we've tried to hit this nail on the head. I feel like the gaming community has tried to hit this nail on the head. Live service games are not what people want. And it has been time and time again, live service game after live service game has absolutely failed. Concord, just the latest to absolutely drop the ball from PlayStation. But they're still in this idea of live service games are the way to go because it seems that those are the games that the studios think are going to make them the most money. Curious to see what Bungie can pull off here. Look, I guess the best thing you can say about this, if, you know, obviously they're going to always spin this in a positive way. If this move allowed them to keep 12% of their staff that otherwise would have been cut, hey, look, we're always fans of people keeping their jobs. We never want to see people lose their job, no matter how bad their games are, because that's something they worked on. That's something they're passionate about. So I'm happy about that. But yeah, I don't want more live service games through, and it's still just weird to say Bungie and PlayStation in the same sentence.
Yeah, I don't know. At the end of the day, man, I'm still nervous about this. I really don't know how well this is going to go when they judged The Last of Us, which I think probably would have done a lot better than Concord. So, obviously, we're not a fly on the wall, but I would love to be, just to see what the conversations are behind the closed doors. What does that really look like? What other live service? Fair Games? Dude, Fair Games by Jade Raymond's team, I think isn't going to go anywhere either. I don't think it'll be as bad as a Concord situation. But this whole focus for PlayStation to shift to live service isn't working. Because why? Because they weren't first. Dude, they're trying to play catch up. You know, that's the problem. There are already so many other games out there dominating the market. Fortnite continues to be the leader. Continues. Everybody's trying to follow that and cash in with them. And they're not, nobody's catching up to Fortnite.
No.
Nobody.
No.
Right? GTA Online is that. It's GTA and it's Fortnite, and everybody else has got a little piece of the pie, but I don't think it's enough for PlayStation to keep it where they want to be. I think we'd still be playing The Last of Us multiplayer if it launched. Concord, 2 weeks, dude. 2 weeks, and it's gone. Michael, how nervous are you for Bungie to take over this service?
Incredibly nervous, right? very scared to see what Bungie has in plans, as you said. I mean, maybe this is the change they need, though, right? They weren't behind Concord. Concord flopped. So maybe Bungie is the savior for PlayStation.